What's up, Buffalo Bill fans? Ugh, swear it's hard to even do this video. It's yesterday now that just a game that embodied like so many of these games seem to do everything that it is to be a Bills fan. It had so many layers and components of just frustration, just disgust and head scratching, just head in your hand moments. I mean, that could fill a whole season with. And of course, only our beloved Bills can provide us with those because they really, wow. I mean, obviously, the narrative, the whole will be EJ Manuel. And like I laid out in one of the videos, like I've moved on from him. Like even during the late summer when they were having the quarterback competition, I moved on from him. I This guy's never going to be a starter for the Bills, a legitimate starter, or one in the NFL. And I even think just just I don't know anything. I just judging by the way he plays or tries to play. He doesn't try to play. He plays like this. Worded it wrong. He knows it. He knows that. I think I think he knows he's not good enough, and he plays such a diminutive game that he's out there waiting to make a mistake, or he's afraid to make a mistake. Both. And then you see passes like the one to Woods, the one to Easley, even the one that Clay dropped. Finally a guy moving up the field. He hits him. Unfortunately, Clay dropped it, and I was just like, oh, fuck. Because otherwise, there's not many times where he's going to hit a guy that's moving. He's just not. Most of the time, they need to be standing still. And then there's other times you see passes. It's just he looks like a classic case where there's been too many cooks in the kitchen, and whatever he could have been, possibly, you're not sure, has been really derailed by all of this, and it was painful to watch. I mean, that sequence in the second quarter where he just vomited all over himself, all over the field. It was just terrible. You spot that another team, 14 gift wrap points, and then another one where they, just like a defense that's demoralized because you have to go out there. And trust me, I'm not going to totally absolve them either, because you have that sequence at the beginning of the second half where they basically Jaguars take 9 minutes. Jaguars 9 minutes off the clock. Even the touchdown at the end for me, I find it's like you can't let them score, but the preceding event is the pass interference that was just a phantom call. Like these refs, this is what happens. And it's unfortunate because this is every business in America now. I don't care if it's a local fast food place, coffee place, like chain place, or the biggest corporation in America, financial, technology, whatever. Micromanagement. The level of administration that is implemented at every level of everything is just ridiculous. Like what do you I just and you got in the NFL, in order to make it better, put another official on the field this year. So now there's even another guy to throw more flags, which is what we've seen. And I'm granted, the Bills have done themselves no favors with some of the dumb penalties. More specifically, the like the taunting and the just the dumb personal foul penalties that we've seen, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties that we've seen. But then there's a penalty like the touchdown that the Bills got called for celebrating. It. What do you want these guys to be? Fucking robots? Like football's an emotional game. They were down by all that. You know that. You're an official on the field. And so what? They get together in a group and celebrate off of just, in the moment raw emotion. There's it's things like that. It's just like it's a game. It's a fucking game. Stop trying to make everything so like robotic and like, oh, we can't wear Beats headphones because the NFL sponsor is Bose and they'll get mad at us. Or, oh, we believe, you see this fucking disgusting wretch of a human being, Roger Goodell, and he's such a, oh, just a, ugh. Like, he is easily the most hated man in sports. Easily. And he's earned every bit of it. He's, granted, a human pinata for the owners. I get it, just like the president is. It's another, discussion for another time. He is a fucking idiot who all he's concerned about is money. Just like the owners are. The quality, integrity of the game does not matter. The appearance of it does. Now, I know I'm going off on a tangent about something totally unrelated to the game, but it has to do with the over officiating of these games. Just not the Bills, but in general. It's just, it makes the game unbearable to watch because you watch a game, the first thing you do is look to see if there's a flag. Or if you see one, it's just like every play, is there a flag? Where's the flag? That's all you're thinking about. And to throw a flag at that point during the game, that late in the game, on such a bad call is ludicrous. And you never hear a league that preached transparency. Remember that word Goodell used, transparency? Will never make public anything that they do to these officials. That guy should never ref another NFL game again. Coaches get fired for losing these games. People lose their jobs. Players get released. Okay? And what part of that doesn't the NFL get? You hire part-time insurance salesmen and whatever else to officiate your multi-billion-dollar a year business. You can't afford full-time refs. You can't afford cameras that get all the angles correctly. You can't get it right on instant replay. You can't get it right on communication. You have to hire puppets like Mike Pereira and Mike Carey to come in and explain every call that happens during a game because you need another explanation for what a catch is and isn't in football. It's shit. We know what a catch is. Okay? And it's got to be so like, oh, he's got to do this and put his foot here and show upward movement. They've totally fucked the game up. They really have. They've taken an awesome game and this is what happens. Again, micromanagement. You've got a bunch of marketing and you've got a bunch of people who've really never played football before. Overeducated, underqualified people that have gotten in their positions through nepotism in the league office. I'll tell you exactly who works in New York. Everybody who works in New York generally has gotten to where they are due to those factors. Nepotism being the main one. It's not about what you know, it's who you know, because if it's about what you know, there'd nobody be working over there. That most buildings would be empty. There'd probably be like maybe 1,000 people working. That'd be about it. But that's it. Back to the game. That penalty was terrible. That ref should never work again. The sequence at the end of the game that EJ had was putrid. The calling of the timeouts and then there's these national people that come out and say, well, it's the batteries and it's the team's batteries and they're responsible. What are you talking about? So the league can't facilitate batteries in the headsets and shit, so the team has to pay for those? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get a league that is championing their champion because that's what he championed like the 20 remember the 28 billion in revenue. My God, how much is enough? How much is enough, really? it, it just This league has gotten so greedy, and it's really ruined the game. Adding all those teams that they did in the mid 90s to early 2000s in a league that needs quarterbacks, watered down the depth of the teams. You water down the quarterback pool. You water down the coaching, and then you start changing all these rules at the behest of two quarterbacks who are going to be in your league for this long. How many different rules have they changed due to the Patriots? Whether it was the Brady hit below the knees rule, or the rule where, remember, in the AFC Championship game in '04 where they mugged the receivers, Harrison and Wayne for the Colts, and Irsay and Manning complained after, and they changed the rules, the contact rules, and you got that right. And then you had the handling of the balls. That was Manning and Brady. How about the Edelman rule now? Just really, that's the way it is. That's how it's gone. It's it'll never change until we stop buying, we stop watching, we stop paying attention. It's just like, look, clean up your act, or I'll watch something else. I got something better to do on my Sundays. Like I know a lot of Bills fans did today. I came home and watched the end. I went to the gym afterwards, after the game, and relaxed, decompressed, got my mind off as much as I could. It was hard, but I did it, and I appreciate. I thank God I did it. I know that a lot of this is rambling. It's not a lot about the game. It's almost 2 in the morning. I'm lucky I have off tomorrow. I need it. It's just, here we all sit up in arms as Bills fans, wondering when are they ever going to win again? When are we ever going to watch them win again? Like, really win. And I'm not talking about some mirage, 9-7, culture change. Oh, God. Don't insult us. I hate that. Like, you get a suit, like, and they all have them, all these organizations. They're so, let's act like we're so important. Russ Brandon, like, it facilitated a culture shift and a culture change. You got some Bills fan, just, we need Marone back. All this vacillating, back and forth, back and forth. What have the Bills gotten by changing coaches every year? They've had two coaches walk out on them, right? Mike Mularkey and this asshole, Marone. Now, Mularkey's a joke. We all know that. Marone's a joke, too. We all know that. Rex can be a bit of a goof at times. But you know what? Throw it. Just, people are getting rid of him already. And what? You get rid of him, and what are you going to do? Who's coming? Somebody going to come? Who? Tell me. Let me hear the big panacea. I like Tyrod Taylor. I think he can be a good quarterback for this team. I think he can be, granted, it's still at infantile stages now. I'm not going to get the anointing oil out just yet. I need to see a lot more. 9 games left. I'm not tanking this season, and I'm not saying just throw it for draft picks or draft standing or whatever. I will hold some fat to the fire as it pertains to people in the personnel department. And it really doesn't have anything to do with Castle, because he shit the bed himself today, too. That's what I was going to say before that I went off my train of thought. Where I know a lot of Bills fans, they sat and waited. What I said when I went to the gym, they sat and waited. We're gonna watch Castle, and we're gonna see what he does. And if he lights it up today, boy, Twitter, Facebook, what the team little uh, articles, they're all gonna hear it. WGR is getting it. He was terrible. He was awful. 3 picks, just pick six. He was not good. He's a backup quarterback in the league for a reason. He's been on 4 different teams in 4 years for a reason. He's not Kurt Warner, who was a Super Bowl MVP and had an injured thumb and kept playing on it and didn't allow it to heal. And then when he finally got it healthy, he took a job away from an overdrafted quarterback and went to a Super Bowl in Arizona. He's not that guy. So it's an easy argument. It's an easy thing to try to point to is Castle. I point to over 15 years of futility. I point to constant, too many hands in the pot, cooks in the kitchen, whatever you want to use, is the problem here. You've had too many people, and sometimes I think a lot of ego gets in the way. And that, what do you think? And fans, they want to talk about me as a fan. There's never 100% consensus on a player. Never. You think Harbin was and I'll talk about him because I'm through with him. My opinion is you have a guy who walks out on a team. The team is saying it's not injury related. So essentially you're saying he walked out. He left. He said, fuck you, I'm taking my ball and going home. In a time of need where you're dire straits, you're all hands on deck, a skeleton crew, mash unit going out there to play offense, and this guy who you paid money to, good money, he's your senior most wide receiver, highest paid, he walks out. This is why he's a diva. Again, a guy who's been on his 4th team, talented as shit, but it's not there. Don't want him. Caveman Mike, bye. You can't build a winning culture with guys like that. You can't do it. Like 2.5 years ago, it was a free agency period in 13. I pounded the table. It was last year. I pounded the table for James Jones. It wasn't because of what he's doing, because he's playing with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. Bills don't have that. He's definitely not putting up the numbers. But what he's doing is teaching guys like Robert Woods, Sammy Watkins, Hogan how to be pros. That's what he's doing. Showing them what it's like day in and day out, how to prepare, how to watch film, how to attack. That's what he's doing. I don't think Harbin's doing that. I don't think Caveman Mike was doing that. I don't know, but they don't strike me as the kind of guys to do that. They needed a professional, a guy who come in and do that. And they don't have that in that room. They don't have a lot of guys on this team that really, truly don't know how to win. And you have a quarterback competition with 3 guys. One, a big question mark, very intriguing, who's now the starter. The second, a first round, he's a bust, draft pick, who was benched, EJ Manuel. And then the classic journeyman who's several different teams and has many years and is just toiling around the league in his last years in Matt Castle. So you can't continue to change things. So people who want to say fire Rex and fire, no, I'm not on board with that. I'm not. Because what are you going to do? You bring in another guy, and the second he loses 2 or 3 games, you'll be like, fire him too, fire this one, fire that one, fire that. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to start building something somewhere, somehow, some way. You got to stop and say, look, we got to stop with our egos. Otherwise, this shit's never going to turn around. And Terry and Kim have to be in that room. And they have to sit there and be the people that say that. Like, look, this is what's got to happen. Period. You know, when it comes to a player, coach, whoever. No. And Rex went out there today and was like, look, he's owning EJ. He's not backing away from it. It's kind of like how we wanted to say, well, remember how, like, even me, like, and Knicks did pick Manuel along with Marone. He was a constituent in that. He went out there the day he was picked in the press conference. Him and Nick sat side by side and talked about that pick. Well, Whaley wasn't the general manager. Russ Brandon was the de facto guy in charge. Ralph was still alive. And he owned it. He didn't throw anybody in the bus. He said, it's a Bills pick. It's a Bills pick. Same thing today. You know, we're behind him, whatever. You know, I respect that. If he wanted to fuck Whaley over, he could be like, well, he would have benched EJ. He would have deactivated, you know, they would keep Johnson and just deactivate. But they're not going to keep Johnson after this week because Taylor's going to be healthy, hopefully. And, you know, hopefully they get Watkins back. And you know what? There's been a lot of heat on Watkins for what he said mainly, but Watkins has been injured in terms of he was injured going into last year when he got his ribs broken. Well, he got them cracked, then broken by an idiot fucking head coach who put him out there in a meaningless game. And he played through it all 16 games. He played and ended up getting hip surgery as an overcompensation for the broken ribs. No camp, no reps, just rehab. Hurts your offense, not building up rhythm, you're not building up chemistry. You know, Hogan was hurt too. But, you know, he's a guy, man, he's really endeared himself to me. Like, he was a guy I could say take him or leave him. He's really earned his way with me, like Hogan. I like a guy like that. Like, Hogan's a guy I keep. You know, poor Marquise Goodwin, you know, Mr. Glass himself, you know, I feel bad for the guy, but, you know when it's time to go. You know when it's a guy's time. There's guys on this team I like. And they do need time to gel and grow and develop together. They really do. Offensively, you do. You need that. You need that cohesion. You need that game time. Whether it's practice or, you know, good reps that we don't hear about in the practices or camp. During you need that. And they don't have that. You look at the good teams, the teams that win, you know, a Sans, you know, with the Brady, they have a quarterback who's repped the hell with the same guys. He's throwing to the same dudes. He knows these guys in and out. You know, Brady knows what Edelman's going to do, and he knows that's the way they are. You know, Gronk, it's the same cast of characters generally, give or take a few interchangeable parts. In Buffalo, it's always like, change this, change that, get this, get that. You know, how many offensive coordinators in how many years, or defensive systems? How many different quarterbacks in 2.5 seasons? 5 starting? You had what? EJ, Toole, Thad Lewis, Kyle Orton, Tyrod. You can't win like that. You can't. You cannot win like that. You're not going to win anything of any substance like that. Let's be honest. You know, I really think when Taylor gets back in there, a big emphasis is going to be on him protecting himself. In terms of, you know, he's going to make hay with his legs. That's get down. He's going to run. That's one thing you could say this staff has done with EJ. He's running a lot more. Definitely doing that. Maybe not all that effectively sometimes, like that sneak, but he's doing it. But and throwing the ball away. Like I'd like to see sometimes Tyrod takes a sack that I just throw the ball away there. Live to play the next down. I have to remind myself to do that shit in Madden too. I'm like, throw the ball away, you idiot. 2nd and 10's better than 2nd and 18. Yeah, but it's you Carlos with the concussion. You had McCoy in and out, and we've seen how McCoy can be dynamic, but the fumble down there, that's a killer. It's a killer fumble. That's a 1st and goal at the 2? Then you had the one where he runs it down to the 1 foot line, and they holding. There was 2 penalties on the Bills there. It was just like, oh my God, you can't win like that. You cannot win like that. So they got a lot of work to do. The bye couldn't have come at a better time. I echo the words of Rex. The bye could not come at a better time. I have rambled. I have bitched and moaned during this video. I apologize. I have not done one in a long time. I don't jump on the hype though. Like after they beat Miami and shit, and after it looked good, I was just like, you know what? Let's watch. I'm not gonna do a video, pound on my chest. Not that I do those. I'm not like that type. I'm not that Homer crazy psycho type. I was like, just let me see this unfold a little bit, and then there's just they're the kind of team that can't afford to lose Watkins and McCoy. They just can't. They're not good enough to do that. And then the penalties, and then to turn over the football 4 times. You can't win like that. I mean, they got a pick 6 themselves today, but 4 turnovers, 3 plus 3 on the other end, not good. They are Kyle Williams, Aaron Williams, but you still got a lot of talent on that defense. I just think that it's the communication issues that they're having. It's just they've had too many voices in the air, too many new coaches, too many different systems. Everything's like, what is this? We called it. It's just a lot. And he said he was going to challenge him mentally, and they haven't been able to handle it because it's just this every year. It's Wannstedt. It's Pettine. It's Schwartz. Now it's Rex. It's no. Where's the consistency? There's no consistency here, and that's a problem. And we don't know 7 games in, so let's not say, oh, this is fired. No, we're talking about 3 years from now, and 2.5, 3 years. I'm gonna be like, okay, this guy's been doing the same thing for 2.5, 3 seasons. We're seeing the same shit, like with Jerron. All right, Bills fans. Well, it's a hard one. This is a hard one to sit on for 2 weeks. There's no other way to put it. It was just like, please, like when they took the lead, it was just like, oh God, just give us this to 2 weeks, and now you're just hoping against hope that they get all the players that they lost back. In terms of what you don't know a guy like Kyle Williams, you don't know about definitely not Aaron Williams, but Watkins, Miller. Fortunately, I think it was his mother who passed his. That obviously is just takes way more precedence than any football game. And that's hard. And luckily, he has 2 weeks to try to grieve and get that out of his system. So it's a hard thing. It could be so far away. And Henderson with the concussion. I think I mentioned Carlos and Tyrod obviously. So and McCoy, get him a little bit back fully. He's looking a little bit more like his old self. But another week and then a week of practice should have him pretty much full go. So let's see what they can do. This is their season coming up after this bye. This 3-game stretch is their season. these 3 games coming up is their season. One at a time. Boom, boom, boom. We're getting them like bam, bam, bam. So we're going to know where this team is going in a month. Probably less because the outcome of the game is going to tell us. So, all right, Bills fans, 30 minutes is enough. Have a good night. Have a good week. Try to. And we'll see what happens. Let's get some good news, please. Good news about something, anything. Something fall down from wherever and hit one Bills drive and turn everybody into something. All right, guys. Have a good one. Have a good week. I appreciate you hanging around, watching my dumb ass, subscribe, and all that stuff. I really appreciate it. Go Bills.